another readiness edition of the Addicted Social Media Podcast. I'm Neil Weiser.
I'm Seth Goldstein.
I'm Jody Rains.
And we have a special guest today.
Robert Anderson.
Hey, Robert, how you doing?
Yeah, Robert is my partner on the G Plus guides. He's my co-author, so I thought it would be fitting to have him on the podcast. And he knows a lot about Google Plus because he pretty much lives on it with me. So
excellent. Well, welcome aboard, Robert. We're looking forward to your expertise, and we might as well just dive right into Google since we have all this Google brain power on the show. So what's going on with Google? Lots of happenings this past week with Google Plus.
Yeah, Google's constantly iterating on Google Plus right now. One of the big things that they did recently is they added a bunch of new features. They added something called ripples, which I know Neil's going to talk about a lot later on, but show influence, sort of clout-like, only more accurate. They added more filters for your photos in the photo gallery, so you can actually edit them more in Google Plus. They added a What's Hot feature. It's plus.google.com/hot, and this shows what the latest trending stories are on Google Plus. What else do they have? I mean, there are some other features that weren't in the show notes, but Robert and I discovered. Yeah.
Yeah, Robert. What are the features?
Yeah. What other features have you seen, Robert?
Some pretty cool stuff coming out just today. Well, they've had some widgets out there that will allow you to, for example, take people out of your circles that haven't circled you back. And being that we've been here for a little while, you end up with a lot of people that maybe you aren't engaging with, but maybe you don't notice. It's a quick and easy way to see who's following you and who's not following you, and that's a Chrome extension. That one's pretty useful, I found.
I like that.
And he'll talk more about that in his pick of the week.
Cool.
But we have a link in the show notes also where the little guide to how to find local influencers on Google Plus. That was over at Search Engine Land, so make sure you check that out. This shows you how to use the Google Plus search and Google search, kind of do a site search of Google Plus, so you can find people who are in your area that are vegans or in that sphere of influence that you want to find them. So that's kind of neat.
That's cool that Google's doing that. I mean, local is becoming a more and more important aspect of social media as the technology has been developing, and I love seeing these various social tools.
Yeah, definitely. Also, Google's been in the news recently where, law enforcement agencies all over the world commonly send in these requests for Google to take stuff down and say, hey, look, that's not right. We don't want evidence of our misdeeds online. But recently, Google has denied requests from a local police department to take down videos of police brutality. So this shows that Google is being honest about it. They are being very forthcoming. There is a website out there. The website URL escapes me, but they pretty much list by country and state who has been asking for takedown requests. So they're very forward about it, saying, "Hey, look, you request a takedown notice. We're flagging you, saying, you did this. Whether or not we respond or not, it's something else."
Wait a second. What exactly? So they're taking down the videos that people are requesting be removed, but they're saying, "Hey, so and so requested a video."
No, not necessarily. They're posting that so and so, some country or some municipality asked for it to be taken down, and then their response. So if let's say it's something that they agreed should be taken down as a copyright infringement, anything like that, they will take it down, and they'll say, we took it down for these reasons. If it's in the police brutality, they didn't. They said that they denied their request to take down the videos, and that those videos still are online because they said, look, that's public knowledge that needs to be there. That you can't. So Google's taking a stand pretty much. So. And Google's taking a stand in other ways as well. Neil, we know you're a big lover of Google Reader. What happened over there?
Google finally has starting to catch up and adding some Google Plus love to Google Reader, although not so many of the Reader users are loving it. Basically, what they've done is they've removed some of the social tools that were included in Reader since it's redundant because those tools exist in Google Plus. But they also cleaned up the interface a little bit. Not entirely loving it. One of the things about Reader that I liked was that the stories were very tightly listed. So it made good use of the screen space, and I could see like 35 on my particular screen, the resolution, like 35 or 40 stories. they've added some space above and below each of the stories that are listed there, which means that I'm seeing probably about 15 less than I used to, which is a little annoying. I don't really need to see that.
That is annoying.
Or not see that, because one of the benefits that I always liked with Google Reader is that I subscribe to 250 odd feeds.
Really?
I can blast through them very quickly. This is kind of slowing me down a little bit, so I've compensated by adjusting my the zoom. I zoomed out a little bit on that particular tab, so that compensates a little bit. But I'm yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You seriously read 250 feet.
Well, he skims.
Well, they don't all post every day.
Okay.
And it doesn't mean he looks at every single one. He has them in his reader, in his defense.
Yeah, those are just data sources. They post stories. I just read headlines, and if something's appealing to me, then
okay,
I'll go for it.
It's the Neil Weiser newsstand essentially.
Yeah, basically.
No, I did it. I did my Google Reader to the point where I can't use it anymore because it's too busy. Over 1,000, and I just decided I'm not using it. I'll let Neil do it and tell me when there's good stories.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I try to cut down, but the more I take one off, I put two in, two more in and stuff. But thank God everyone doesn't post every day, because then I would
really
seriously cut down.
Yeah.
But what I would love to see though is across the Google Plus, you've got the buttons for your profile, your stream, your photos, and things like that. They should have another one just for like Reader, or at least allow you to customize it so you can put a button for Reader up there.
You can. There's a plugin for that.
I was just going to say, unless someone has written a plugin for that, you can't really do that. What's the plugin?
I'd have to look it up. I'll throw it in the show notes. There's tons of them up there. It's one of the general ones. I think it's G plus, SG plus or something like that, and it puts it up at the top. And you can edit the menu to suit your needs. So, but it makes Google Chrome a lot more sticky. It's either that or there's SG plus. Or I don't know if it's that one or if there's another one. It might be Google Extension Manager. I don't know. I'll look it up. I'll put it in the show notes. So check it out later. What's that?
Google Reader Plus.
Google Reader Plus. There you go. So Jody, we've all been waiting for this day, at least as business owners. What's going on with Google business pages? Apparently they're out. You're
asking me. I'm excited to know that they are. Apparently you can get a business profile if you have an app. Neil, what's the story with this?
Yeah, well, if you've got the Google Apps suite or whatever it's called, that's
Google Apps. Yeah.
Is that what it is? I actually don't use that. But if you have that, you're supposedly going to be able to gain access to what will be the Google Plus profiles for business pages.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to test that out, opening up to a limited audience. Obviously, most of the people who use Google Apps are small businesses, trying to get some feedback for that, and then I think they'll roll it out later. Because I don't have apps, I actually haven't seen it. And interestingly enough, I haven't found a screenshot that anyone's posted about that either.
I will go find it. I have Google Apps.
One of the reasons why you might not have seen it is because the Google Apps for Business is a paid or subscription program.
Right. You can do a 30-day trial for free. Otherwise, it's $5 per employee. You can go and set up Google Apps, but the important thing is here you can go and do your layout for what your business page is going to look like once it comes into Google. And there's a couple of examples online. Seth and I were talking about earlier this week. And what's nice about this is if you get a week or two head start on when it rolls out for everyone else, you have a little bit better view about thinking about what your layout's going to look like.
Mm-hmm.
So
cool.
What do they look like, Robert?
They look like pretty cool web pages. So a couple things they can do is you can share circles directly on the page, not within apps, but when it comes into Google.
I want to share circles.
Well, no, but think about this in terms of a business. So when a business adds people or whatever, you have these circles that you'll actually be able to see on the page. So it's actually putting the wheels in the space. You know what? Give me a minute, and while you guys are chatting about something else, I'll go find the link on it real quick.
And you post it in the document, in the Google Plus, in our document, and we'll post it there for people to take a look.
And Robert, lean closer in because you're coming in kind of distant.
Exactly. You guys show the pearly whites. There we go.
Yes. Thanks.
So, all right. So that's new. Also, did you guys know that Google is now indexing Facebook comments? They're not allowed to index Facebook, but they're skimming websites that have Facebook comments so they can actually see it, interact with it, and index into their streams of search engine.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if Facebook does anything to try to block that, because on the one hand, they're very proprietary and that's the way they behave. but it's just giving Facebook and Facebook users additional exposure within the Google index. So it'll be interesting to see what the reaction is.
Yeah, I think, honestly, I think it's on the website. I mean, they're probably not being able to scrape it dynamically, but they're able to scrape it, like, visually. It's on the page. Literally, if you highlight one of those, if you take your mouse and you highlight the text in the Facebook comment, it still comes up as text. So they can still read that. It's just, as a flat page. So that's probably how they're pulling it up.
Yeah, but it's interesting, though, because, with the argument that I just put out there, that anything that shows activity on Facebook on another network is actually getting the other network to basically advertise Facebook for them. You might wonder why Facebook doesn't open up and let Google index them.
Because Zuckerberg's not the smartest person on it.
The pages are already public.
Pages are.
So of course, if it's public, it's going to be indexed. I mean, that's...
Yeah. Google does index Facebook pages. The ones that are public facing.
Well, I'm talking about like profiles and everything else.
But that's a little sticky because a lot of them are also internal. So, you can't really do that. So
you're not supposed to. Well, see, here's the thing, though. If you make a comment on a public page, that's a public comment. So then that's indexed.
Yeah, but your personal page.
Recognize that.
But your personal page, then people can click on your icon and go into your personal page, and it's blocked because it's all locked down. So apparently, Anyhow, Robert, what went on with Paul Rustin? I'm not a lot of people know about him, but he is a body painting artist.
Paul is actually the leading body painting artist in the United States. He's won the national championship last year. He's a very talented artist. He paints both male and female nude models with body paint. So he does some really interesting artwork, and he's been very active in this space. He has a lot of followers. He's actually done a hangout where he's painted a model in a hangout over about a 3-hour period while people were actually watching. It was a very interesting, interactive sort of space. So Paul posts his work, his finished work in the space. So you have models who are body painted with body art, and he does fashion photography as well, so that all ties in. Well, in the beginning, Google blocked a couple of his images. And then recently, and he and I had dinner about a month and a half ago, and he was talking about this problem, about whether or not Google accepted his work as art or as nudity, or because Google has a no nudity policy. So this sort of came to head yesterday when they removed some of his artwork from the site or blocked the images, and they've done this in the past and he worked it out. So he came to me early in the morning. He said, I'm really frustrated about this. He said, what can we do to sort of bring this up to the front? I want an answer on this because this is art. I consider it to be art, and I think other people do as well. So I posted a fairly simple question. I said, I took a Klimat image that has a woman with her left breast is bare, the other one's not. And I said, do you consider should artistic nudity be allowed on Google+? And I put it out and had some people share it to see what the response was.
Some people, it's viral.
Yeah, it did go viral. So within an hour, we had 324 responses that they thought that artistic nudity should be allowed on Google+, and 10 people who thought that it should not be allowed. And that voice was heard very loud and clear. Late last night, or early last night, I guess it was, Vic came on to a hangout.
It's Vic Condotra.
Vic Condotra, right. Came into a hangout where Paul was. Personally apologized to him for Google striking the images, promised him that they would be reinstated, told him that he liked his work very much, that he actually follows his stuff, and circled him. And another Googler came in and talked to him and said, hey, really appreciate your being patient on this. We're, brand new site. We're working through some issues, trying to figure out where things are going. And we all just sat there kind of stunned that I don't know of any other social network or any other business for that matter, when you're a user on a platform and you have an issue, that the headsheds come down and sit and talk to you and say, we heard what you said, we responded, and this is how we're dealing with it. And we all just sat back and went, I think this is why this social network might be a little different.
Yeah, and here's the thing is, a lot of people don't realize is Google used to be impossible to get a hold of. Before Google Plus, you could not get through them. Your search rankings didn't work. You could write them a letter of fall on deaf ears. Now Google Plus is as almost like a customer service medium for Googlers. I'm constantly on Hangouts with other Googlers of varying degrees of importance over there, talking about everything from YouTube to Gmail. They don't just use it for Google Plus. and they're very accessible. I've talked to Bradley Horowitz, who's another one of the co-creators of Google Plus. I've talked to a lot. I actually know Chichu pretty well through. He's the head of the Hangouts team. So thank you, Chichu, for this great service. He actually does watch our podcast ever since I told him about how we're using it for our podcast. So he watches it, so he does know about you too. And it's just they're using it as a way to kind of make themselves more human. I would love to see Facebook try and do something like this as well. I encourage them to, because honestly, Facebook had a major PR problem when stuff happens. And this could have been a major PR problem. This could have majorly blew up in Google's face. But Vic came down from down from the altar, came down from his office, in his house, whatever, and said, "Look, I'm sorry, we screwed up." I mean, you don't see any big companies, especially behemoths like Google, saying, "Hey, we were wrong. We're fixing this."
Especially if he was in his comfy robe and slippers.
Well, he wasn't comfy robe and slippers, but I think he was definitely in his house.
Well, what's amazing about that is that you're seeing a business that's very large and obviously very influential reacting and being agile like a startup. I mean, these guys are treating this space, this new platform, as if it were a startup, and everyone's investing themselves. I see Googlers hanging out in the evenings just talking, and occasionally a question will come up about something in Google, but mostly they're just hanging out. I mean, we spend a lot of time in Hangouts with those guys, and it is extraordinary and different. I would love to see other businesses in the social space spend this much time interfacing with their customers. If the CEO from Netflix had spent a little time in Hangouts, he would have known very early on that he was making a mistake early.
Yeah, and here's another thing, real quick thing about that, is that when you think about it, this is a new innovative space. And I've heard lots of people, even in our industry, saying, "Oh, Google Plus isn't going to make it. Google Plus isn't there. I go on Google Plus, I don't figure it out." Yeah, but the thing is that you can give it a whirl. Yeah.
Bottom line, you and Robert have both basically implied that Googlers are people too.
Yeah.
I mean, so
they're not Smurfs or Googlers.
They go on Google Plus and they're in Hangouts. I think that's awesome. But it's like it's a social forum.
And this is what Larry Page wanted when he took over the CEO job from Eric Schmidt. Not Larry Page. Page. I forget. I'm blanking on his first name.
Yeah, Larry Page.
It is Larry Page. Thank you. You screwed me up. Larry Page came in. He came in and he said, "I want to treat this stuff as startups now. I want us to go back to our startup roots and really build out on this. And let's treat stuff not as a big conglomerate. Let's go in and build this stuff." He killed off a bunch of things of excess that he's like, "We don't want you to do this stuff. This is off topic." And let's focus in on social. Bonuses are based on social interactions, so they have a little bit more of a incentive to do well on Google Plus, because this is their bonuses. So Vic should be in here trying to make sure people are happy. It's his bonus. I'm sure it's a very nice bonus at that.
Well, they turned something into, Paul's very popular in this space, they turned something that could have been a bit of a revolutionary nightmare for them into not only a positive, but obviously, we're sitting here talking about it today. So they took a situation that was perhaps a little difficult for them to sort out whether nudity should be allowed or not, and we made the statement and asked everyone, "Hey, is artistic nudity okay in this space?" And everyone resoundingly came back with the answer of yes. We had 5% of the people that responded said no, and we started with my page. I have a fairly conservative following, I think. I'm an old guy, so that sort of follows. But that's what the people said, and they spoke, and Google reacted to it very quickly. I would love to see other social platforms and networks react to and respond to people the way that Google has. I'm not sure that happens, and if it is, I'm not aware of it.
Yeah. Should we move on to Facebook? Speaking of one of those platforms, Neil, do you want to say something about this?
Well, I know Michael Dell hangs out a lot through the Hangouts, and he was so impressed with it that Dell, as a company, is aggressively moving to utilize Hangouts for customer service. So that'd be really interesting once they start rolling out those services.
Dell has an exploratory team in this space that's looking at Hangouts and how they can use it for customer service. They're also looking at how they can use interacting with people's computers through this space. There's a couple of little widgets out there that they're messing around with. His brother, Adam, is in the space as well. I was in a Hangout with him 2 nights ago. We were chatting about a couple things, and they are very interested. Actually, there's over 1,100 Googler or 1,100 Facebookers that people that work for Facebook, they're out on Google Plus as well. So
yeah, exactly. It's interesting. Everyone uses it.
There's a lot of interesting characters in this space.
Yeah, and what's interesting is that I know I think some of us know Steve Levine. He's very big on Twitter. He was watching this funny little anecdote about Michael Dell and him. he was watching the Phillies game. Just had a hangout open at the very beginning, and all of a sudden, no one else is in this hangout, but Michael Dell walks on into this hangout, and they end up having like an hour conversation, just the two of them, about Dell products. And he, Steve is an Apple guy, kind of, told Michael Dell what he thought of his products, and they had a good conversation about it, very constructive. But I mean, where else can you talk to Michael Dell, or or any of these people? I mean, Vic Dotra, I mean, he's a pretty big name in Silicon Valley. It's pretty neat. So,
well, I think it's just as we are progressing, people are finally learning that these tools are important, that we have to use them, and some people actually enjoy, to their surprise, they actually enjoy using them.
Exactly.
And, we'll just see where it all goes.
Exactly. So let's move on to Facebook. Scott.
That's kind of been the case, though. I mean, that's the beauty of social media. It's not just Google Plus. It's, I mean, Twitter was the same thing. Facebook, you got all excited because you could talk to Scoble. So it's just kind of social media in general. So
and evolution, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's powerful stuff. But there's been a lot of stuff that's been going on this week with Facebook.
Mm-hmm. Nice segue.
From message exploits to people's accounts being compromised. What do you guys hear about this message exploit situation?
Which one?
Which one?
Evidently, there was an issue with the messages being compromised, with malicious files being sent through
the messaging app, yeah.
Yeah, just files. Do you guys know about that?
Not specifically that particular event, but these sort of things are kind of happening all the time. The spammers and other bad guys are constantly looking for new vectors to reach people. And
it hit Twitter.
What?
It hit Twitter last week. Yeah. What's up, Robert?
Well, yeah, Twitter's been very susceptible, but apparently this was something that allowed a third party to use the social network's messaging system to attach malicious files and send them to any registered user on the website.
Well, so Facebook is a fairly open platform, and because they are as such, you're going to find people that are going to go in there and try to exploit new angles in there. And until they get it locked down, and they react very quickly. I mean, Facebook, you can't underestimate what they've done for social networking in general, and what they will continue to do in this space. I mean, they're not going away. They're not going to fade away. Google's not going to kick their butt and take over their market share entirely. I think there's going to be some balance between the two. But Facebook as a platform is an extraordinary example of what a company can do and what they can offer users in social media. I'm very bullish about the space that Facebook fills, and I think they'll continue to sort out some of the things as they face challenges. I hope they don't keep running after every feature that Google adds and trying to one-up them, because quite frankly, their page right now is starting to look like a Microsoft software box. There's too much information on it, and I can't get through it. It's just so much noise.
I don't know where to look. I can't. I don't enjoy it. I mean, I used to like the stream where you can actually go in there and see people you want. Now they're picking it.
My friends are there. If I want to talk to my friends, I've got to go back to Facebook because they're not in Google Plus yet.
But I kind of like that. I kind of like that. Like, I mean, if my friends like you, Neil and Jody, I can find you guys in Google Plus. But my friends from high school, I kind of like them over on Facebook. I can go see their baby pictures and all that and whatnot. I mean, my in-laws just get on there. It is. It's a lot more neighborhood-like.
Let me ask you something. I mean, Google Plus has this cool little feature called Circles. Yeah. So why couldn't you just put a circle of?
No, I agree.
You could actually, Neil, but I think unfortunately there's not that many people from like the social sphere. It's more still tech.
No, I disagree. I disagree a little bit. It is a very much social sphere, but not the civilian social sphere.
Well, that's
they
what
don't
I'm talking
they
about.
don't live it. They don't live it like we do.
Yeah, but that's what I'm talking about, Seth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, there's obviously a lot more people on Facebook than on Google+.
A lot more.
Yeah. So.
But especially like with my class, I mean, when I see a new person from my class on Facebook, I'm kind of surprised because. It took them a long time to start migrating on just to Facebook.
Yeah, but some people don't want to be part of this.
Google Plus is, I think, maybe a little bit too much.
Yeah,
well,
but
when you start getting your age.
Yeah, but Neil, but
you've already been there and passed it.
Oh, that's not nice.
See, when you open a door, you have to expect people in a walk.
But here's the thing.
I'll be over here sipping my Maylocks. You kids just go ahead.
Yeah. But here's the thing with that. I mean, honestly, there's people my age. I'm 30, and there's kids my age that never wanted to be on Facebook. And they only now, like my wife, Meredith is a perfect example of it. She's on Facebook because I made her be on Facebook because I wanted to say I was married to her. I wanted to say married to Meredith Goldstein. And for the longest time, she never went back there. She never went back on there. And
You're
now,
embarrassed.
no, but she doesn't get it. She's not very outwardly social. I mean, she's a sweet person, but she's not social. Like, I can talk to a lamppost if it talks back to me. I'm very outgoing, very friendly. And anyone who knows me.
I disagree. I think you could carry on a perfectly fine conversation with a lamppost whether or not it said anything back to you.
Exactly. Thank you. But that's my point. I mean, my wife is 30 years old. She's getting to Facebook a little bit because her friends are on there. She wants to see baby pictures. We're of the age where our friends are having babies. Our friends are finally finishing getting married and having families. You want to be on there, so she's on there a little bit more. But still, I mean, there's people my age that aren't on Facebook as much. So I wouldn't knock the
your generation. I have a cousin who was just visiting last week. He's 27, and he's not on. And he's a smart guy. I mean, he's doing.
He's a wiser
well for himself. What?
He's a wiser after all.
Well, it's actually technically my wife's cousin, but but he's not on LinkedIn. He's not on Facebook.
Wow.
He's pretty much nowhere, and he's finally
Nowhere.
He's nowhere.
Pretty much. And this is a very savvy guy, and we had a very long conversation about the at minimum, at least the business necessity to have a presence on these channels. Mm-hmm. And so he's finally going to be getting on, but it was quite surprising to see.
Yeah, it's just with a cousin like Neil. I mean, there's
a lot of people who aren't on
guys,
it.
I mean, you got to remember too that we like it because we use it. I have a lot of my friends who build telecommunication networks, who are very technically geeky, who fly satellites, who do all kinds of very interesting things in technology. They don't have time for social networks. It doesn't matter what it is. They don't live in this world. They don't use it. They don't use it. It doesn't even fit into their life. They have very busy, full lives. I know it's hard for anyone to imagine this. Outside of space, it just doesn't exist for them. They may have a profile on LinkedIn, most of them do.
Yeah, that's a given.
That's about as far as it goes.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
I think a lot of it also depends on what your job is.
Yeah, it does. It really does. Like our job, yeah.
When you have people who like you mentioned, I mean, take an electrician or a plumber or what have you. These people are on the job. They're outside. I mean, sure, they may have a smartphone, but they're rushing from one location to another, or they're doing work outside. I mean, they don't have a lot of time to spend, online.
They're paying us to do it.
What?
They're paying us to promote them online.
But sometimes people don't jump in the conversation, and particularly I think the older demographic, because they're concerned about security, and they're concerned about their information being compromised. And I know one statistic that absolutely blew my mind this week was that over 600,000 accounts are compromised on a daily basis.
On Facebook.
On Facebook.
But imagine the others. I'm sure Google has an equally alarming factor of how many Gmail accounts are being hacked on a daily basis.
I know, but the point is,
can you put a request in to have someone compromise your account to take care of all the stuff that you're not doing over there?
But here's the thing. It's only 0.06%, which is, like you would say, that's like nothing. But there's over 1 billion logins every day. So that's 600,000 logins per day that are compromised, right? Which means of those logins, one is compromised every 140 milliseconds.
Wow.
Is that crazy?
That's nuts.
No, I believe it. I mean, you've got these hackers and spammers who are constantly trying to gain access to all these networks, and some of them are more successful than others. But when you think about it, how many more do they really need because of other exploits that have been working through the system, like the one we just talked about a few minutes ago? You get into a couple of good, well-connected people, and you start sending links and messages that are connected to malware or what have you, and that stuff can start spreading exponentially. So 600,000, when you're talking about 800 million, so 600,000 may not seem like a lot from a percentage basis. Of course, people, it's important.
But the millisecond thing really hits home.
Yeah, the number sounds a little high, though. I mean, I don't know.
It's only it's less than 1%. That's 0.06. Now,
the total, but on a daily basis?
On a daily basis. Now,
Facebook's huge now,
what do they mean by compromised, right?
Yeah,
So
means someone gain access to the account.
But not necessarily. Not necessarily. If you try and gain access to it a few times, you get blocked from your. That can be compromised too.
But then you're not compromised.
No, you are compromised because you can't get into your account now.
It could be a bot accessing it, or what they define it as being somebody attempting to access an account that is not assumed to be the owner of the account.
Yeah, I mean, it's complicated. We're now getting down to semantics here. We're getting down to what does compromise mean.
That's a mind-blowing statistic.
It's still, I mean, regardless of
people.
That's a lot of people. I mean,
yes.
of 700 million people,
800 million.
800 million. There's now 7 billion in the world, but still, there's a lot. I mean, 0.6% of that many people is a lot. Is a lot of people.
It is. It's got to be. It's
but when you look at the broader computing internet universe, and unfortunately I'll have to look up the statistic because I don't remember the numbers, but the numbers of PCs that get compromised on a daily basis just from people hitting sites or getting
people being idiots,
attachments, infected email or something, it's a lot higher than that. Now, of course, there's a lot more people out there than there are.
And they've been around longer. Yeah. PCs have been around since the 80s.
Well, my point is that this is nothing new. It's just
it isn't nothing new. Yeah.
But are you guys seeing Facebook getting serious about security?
Well, you would think they have to.
I mean, they are. Apparently, there's some show notes that we have that say, so you're doing a very good job of doing the segues here. Kudos to you. But they're adding more security features. They're adding app passwords, so you have to have an app password assigned to apps. They're figuring stuff out. I mean, honestly, they're not as transparent as Google is. I mean, Google's, saying, hey, we screwed up. Here it is. I'm not gonna, just because Facebook's keeping their mouth shut on it doesn't mean they're not working on it. I mean, Microsoft,
Facebook's more transparent as a platform than Google is. So Facebook is more open in what people can deliver in that space than Google is. So.
Which makes it more susceptible in a way, too. But here's the question. When you guys post a message to Facebook, is that message getting seen?
It's a good question. And, was it 5 weeks ago that they changed the interface?
Oh, God, I can't stand it. Yeah. Not 5 weeks? Yeah. That's when the profiles came out, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So the question then becomes, especially if you're using Facebook for business, are your messages being seen as much or less? Is it reach? Is it frequency? And apparently now it looks like you're getting shown to more people, but less often per person.
Really? Because the thing is, the stream is not a random stream anymore. It's more of cultivated by an algorithm. I mean, now, and that's what I don't like about it, is I can't even click and say, hey, I want to see the stream, show me the stream. It's like, no, this is what we think you want to see, and tough if it isn't. And to me, that's really, it's not.
Facebook's algorithms really stink. I have a friend of mine who I reconnected with on Facebook recently, and, we're constantly trying to interact, but every time we post, our posts are constantly getting shoved off the screen, so we never see each other's posts.
Or is this on Google Plus?
No, on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
Facebook.
I was about to say on Google Plus there's a problem with the stream going too fast, and guess what? There's a plugin for that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And there's actually a pause button. You press the pause button, it queues up all the other stories that are happening, so you can actually watch the video that's in your stream.
There's another thing though that impacts whether or not those posts are being seen on Facebook, and that's what tools you're using to make those posts in the first place. They came out a few weeks ago that Facebook, if you make your post on Facebook.com or the Facebook mobile app now, that post will get precedence over if, say, you post via TweetDeck.
Well, that kind of makes sense. I mean, it's their network. I mean, they can do what the heck they want with it. I mean, so get their app. If you know that, go and get it.
Yeah, by the same token, when you build something in Google Plus, Google gives you preference on their search engine. When you type your name today in Google, if you're on Google Plus, your image from Google Plus will show up much quicker than any other image of you.
Seriously, I used to be on the second page for Seth Goldstein. I'm now number 2 for Seth Goldstein. The only reason why the other Seth Goldstein is above me is because he made Turntable.fm, and he deserves that spot. But I mean, I'm just saying, and also if you post, here's a little tip: if you post your blog article in Google Plus, and you make it public, it indexes very quickly into the search engines. And people are saying, well, that's not fair. Google's putting the precedence over their own product. Why shouldn't they in this instant? They have the stream. Facebook's not giving them the stream.
They should encourage users to use their platform and use their tools to do their stuff, and that's.
I think it's all fair
But
and
there's a
war.
difference between encouraging someone to use the platform and penalizing them for using a tool which is more convenient for them.
Well, but they're not penalizing them. The Facebook stream, other than the pages, is not open to them. Facebook will not give it to them. Google will be more than happy to index Facebook, but Facebook won't let them in. Twitter, they just.
I'm saying that if you're not using Facebook's preferred tool,
Yeah.
as opposed to
Oh,
Facebook,
okay.
you're being penalized.
It is.
And that's not right because, Facebook should want you to access the site through any means possible. Of course, they want you to come to the site and whatever, but that's just not the reality. And if you're using any number of the billion tools out there to access the site, Facebook should respect that and be happy that you're using the tool to get there in the first place. That's the way it used to be.
But Facebook is not a democracy. It's a company-owned platform, so they can
Privately owned too.
They can skew the rules any way that they see fit, and they're trying to push their own business. I mean, I agree with you. I understand your discomfort with the way they do it, but
I think, and honestly, they're also privately traded, so they don't have to answer to SEC or anything like that. I mean, they can do antitrust and stuff, but so.
It's the same thing. They skew their stuff in their own direction.
Yeah, exactly.
They just come down from the mountaintop and say hello and share a cup of tea with us every once in a while, so that's kind of fun.
Well, that's the difference between a democracy and a tyranny.
Yeah, let's move on to Twitter. Twitter actually, we've all been joking how Twitter is not iterating as much, not really building out its platform as much. They're being overshadowed by Google and Facebook. But Twitter released this new thing called Stories, where it's you can put out I really don't understand it so much. Maybe some of you guys can help me explain it a little bit better. But essentially, you can do it's like a website where you can share your story, but in more than 140 characters. I'm not quite sure. Does anyone else know more about this than I do? It makes absolutely no sense to me.
Well, these are videos, aren't they?
They're videos. They're all kind of content.
Yeah, so it's not actually a tweet.
So yeah, it's confusing me. But I mean, obviously, Twitter is iterating and trying new things.
Yeah, well, I would say this is typically not well thought out because it's something that removes you from the main interface. If they wanted to do something to enhance the usability of the product, then include it inside the product.
Yeah.
I mean, from what I'm seeing, this is all outside stuff. So
yeah, actually, I kind of wonder if the Miami Heat owner would have gotten docked even more money if he did something through the Stories app than he did through Twitter. Apparently, the Miami Heat owner was fined $500 million, which, according to the article, 500,000. What did I say?
Million.
500,000, which apparently is to be the largest ever levied against an owner in the NBA. First, pretty much was just ranting and raving about how he didn't like the lockout that's going on in the NBA in the United States. And so here's the moral of that story is, watch what you tweet. It's public. You're all more power to you. But
we have a story here in New Jersey. I don't know if you guys have seen about the local political campaigns.
No, enlighten us.
It's not a Wienergate, but one of the local politicians apparently felt that it was proper to give relationship advice, and he included a quote, something to do with a woman in how she's supposed to act in the living room, in the kitchen, and in the bedroom.
That's.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
oh boy.
And apparently it wasn't taken very well.
No, is full disclosure? Jody is running for a council seat in her town, so full disclosure.
Oh, it's not in my campaign. It's the same party, but he's running for a we lost Robert.
No, he'll come back. He's wandering off.
Okay, no, I mean he's black.
Yeah,
gone.
he wandered off quietly. He's there. He's there. He's turned off his screen. Continue, Jody.
Oh, okay. So in any case, what happened was his name's Phil Mitch, and he's running for a state position, and he made these comments, and they're calling for him not to run, and the party's withdrawn their support.
Oh.
So wait a second, Jody. Does that mean the advice he gave you didn't work?
Oh, don't leave that.
Neil,
I'm gonna mute you now. No. All right, we're moving away from this topic before Jody punches Neil through the screen.
We try the new boot feature.
Yeah, the new boot
I
feature.
don't deserve this. I mean,
Neil, we can go. We can go at you.
That really was not a very bad comment. It was just
No, but this is like 2. You're 2
This
for
is
2
two.
now.
Yeah, Neil. We normally pick on you. You
I'm
normally pick
usually
on me.
0 for 0. Is a
Yeah,
good
but
credit.
you don't
All
pick
right.
on Jody. Jody's the sweet innocent one up at the top. You pick on me.
Oh, Jody knows I love her.
We
Yeah,
love Jody, but you're
lost
being
the
mean.
like.
And she lost some light.
God.
So anyhow, talk about losing support.
Gremlins.
Talk about losing support. Clout is losing support like it's going out of style
Yeah,
here.
I haven't been liking what's going on over with Clout recently.
I will be very vocal about it. I quit.
You are very vocal.
Yeah, I am very vocal. I quit Clout yesterday, and I have not turned back. There's plenty of other ones out there like ProScore and other
Wait a
networks
minute.
out there trying
I
stuff.
think Neil has been the most vocal about it.
Neil or
Yeah.
He hasn't liked Neil. You haven't liked Clout for a while, have you?
I pretty much haven't liked them since they launched.
Why?
What?
Why? Enlighten us. I mean, I know why, but
Well, I questioned the quality of their results immediately
Because he didn't have a good Clout score. That's why. We all know that Neil has Clout.
all right, enough, you children.
Well,
Listen-
well, if you ask me a question, let me answer. So basically, among the things that the information that they were feeding back to me were saying that people, for example, there were people who they said were influencing me, yet some of these people were people who I either didn't follow or personally can't stand and never interact with. And I mean, how they can come out and say that they influence me
It's a bunch of bubkiss.
is quite bupkis. So,
Malarkey.
I strongly questioned the legitimacy of their algorithm, but now they've gone on and changed it, and a lot of people have taken some pretty significant hits on the Clout score.
Yep.
Probably realistically reflecting better their actual level of influence, but they also haven't been handling it well as far as people's reactions.
Yeah. What do you think, Robert? It seems like you were biting at the bit with an opinion.
They were clearly confused about me because when I started, they gave me a number that was just absurd. There's no way in under the canopy of heaven that I'm nearly as interesting as they claim for me to be. And then they brought me down a little bit, so I thought it was a little bit better. I don't know. I don't know what they use for their algorithm. It looks a little wonky. There's some kind of magic going on in there that I'm not sure that I believe.
It's being run by a chimp hitting a button.
That could make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, you look at any of these social measures, and yeah, I guess they have some effect or weight. When you look at Google, for example, you look at the number of followers you have. Well, what's the quality of those followers? How much engagement do you have? So you got to look at other statistics. And you got to look at, so there's all kinds of, there's different ways of measuring it. You know what? I think when you go out in this space is you go out and you behave in a way that you think will entice people to want to engage with you. You engage with people and you see where it goes from there.
Exactly.
Let the market decide. I wouldn't worry too much about the numbers.
Exactly. But
Yeah,
Neil did get alien fingers from Clout.
Yeah.
Skitter fingers. That was one of our
No one's
episodes.
gonna know what that is.
Refer back a few podcasts before we did the video.
I was Cloud recruited me to with a Steven Spielberg show, Falling Skies,
yeah.
to promote it on Twitter, and so they sent me some swag and stuff and some weird stuff. And
he got alien fingers.
yeah,
Email.
actually, they did send me. Actually, have it right here. This neat tote, which is all kind of folded up and everything, but.
Very cool. Enough about Clout.
Swag from them, you get
says-
swag from them, and you're still angry at them. Wow.
What? I'm not angry at them. It's just
Oh, the truth comes out.
Certain accusations about, if you have a product, you put it out, and the product is judging other people, then there should be some legitimacy behind the results. I mean, the results that they were showing me were just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, but the algorithms that drive all of this stuff are a little bit
kludgy.
A little wonky. Even when you look at Google's stuff, when they have their hot list, they said originally when they put that out, it was going to be the usual cast of characters, which meant it wasn't going to be the Schobels and the Trey Ratcliffes and those guys that they're always at the top because they showed up with
Great
a couple
content.
100,000 Twitter followers, so that translated into this space, as opposed to judging people on their individual content production. Well, they said that wasn't going to happen on the hot list. That it was going to be new, interesting people, and guess who's on there every single day.
Number one, Trey Ratcliffe. Yeah, but
So,
I mean, it's all kludgy. It is all what it is. But the big controversy until today, when they actually fixed it, was that you had to email them to get your account deleted. You had to email them to remove it. Now they have a nice delete button, and then they put up a sad puppy staring at you.
Yeah, it shows the power of the market space to react to something in dissatisfaction. I mean, This thing with Bank of America and the $5 fee, they've just retracted it. They've just decided that, by the way, they're not going to charge you $5 a month to keep your debit card,
Yeah.
and that's largely because of social media outrage. People have gotten up in arms about it and voiced their opinion. So,
yeah.
Social media.
So, has anyone heard of the website or the social network called Unthink?
No.
I never thought about it and never heard about it. So apparently they're the anti-Facebook, sort of like the Asper, whatever happened to them. And they've reached 100,000 users. When you go on there, if you can sign in, which you can't, or if it's running because it got hit by TechCrunch. If you go in there, apparently, according to Sarah Lane over the Social Hour over on the Twit Network, she couldn't even log in. And when she was able to log in, no one was there that she wanted to talk to, so it's dead in the water. But the problem is if you want to make a network go up against Facebook, number one, or Google Plus, you're gonna have trouble doing it in the first place. Let alone if you don't have a really bad system that can't handle the load. Invest in
Google
infrastructure.
failed at least 3 times in that space. I mean, when they issued Wave and Buzz, thank you. The problem was adoption. It wasn't that it was a bad idea. It was that no one showed up to the party. And
Buzz was.
But
implementation was.
So who was that you just said showed up?
Unthink. Sarah Lane. She's a tech journalist out in California.
Okay, but there's 100,000 people. When you say that she said that there was no one to talk to, was there literally no one logged into the site?
No, there's people to talk to, but no one who she knew.
No one she knew.
Yeah,
so it's exactly the same thing that they've said about Google Plus. People show up, they're following 26 people, and they go, Google Plus is dead. No, there's no activity. Guess what? There's a lot of activity here, but you have to engage to be engaged.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
It's like walking into a party where you might be full of people who you don't know. If you don't know anyone,
go and talk to these
what are you
people.
going to say? Oh, this party's dead. No one knows.
This is a stupid party.
You
I
could be
don't
a
know
wallflower.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Also, what you got to think about is that's one thing. Granted, if great, they have 100,000 users. Maybe they will become something big. But the big thing is also the infrastructure. I couldn't even sign up for it. It's been crashing. I got an error, 503 error, getting into it. The server error. It was like
Yeah, but you couldn't sign up for Google Plus in the beginning either. I mean, they ran it for.
All right, fair enough. All right.
Give them a chance to build up.
They've been around for a year now.
But you know what I think everyone's approaching very quickly? Social media burnout. Everyone says, rolls their eyes and says, not another one.
There's Chime in too. There's Chime.in too.
But we also saw a large number of social networks that sort of folded into each other. I mean, globally, Facebook wasn't the largest. There was other networks in Brazil and China and different places that were using. And they're starting to roll into, so there's a couple of giants now, but people are getting sort of sick and tired of the next social network, the next great idea. They're just like,
Yeah, because what they want are tools to better manage what they've already got, not 50 more versions of the same slice of bread.
I'm not seeing a max exodus of the people that I know socially that aren't technologists out of Facebook. I'm seeing people that are disaffected with the way it's used moving over to Google. But I'm not seeing people flock away from that space entirely. In fact, most people are very comfortable with what it does.
It's different, and there's difference though. That's the thing that Google Plus has features that Facebook doesn't have. They have Hangouts we're in right now. This is pretty revolutionary. Facebook introduced Skype into it and said, "Hey, you can do one-on-one chats." Well, I'm sorry, Facebook, that doesn't quite cut it. We can do 10-person chats in Google Plus. You're pretty much doing a non-existent hand against a royal flush. So I mean, it's like
Well, there's 2 different sides to that one. So the first side is yes, we can do 10 on this side, and Google, no one can approach what Google can do because of the backhaul and bandwidth that they have, and because of the codecs that they use on both Google's voice codecs and video's video codecs. So they have that sort of secured. But again, it comes back to platform. When you look at Facebook, Facebook is a platform where developers can go in and develop interesting content. Google is still very new and young in this space. The API is barely released, and what they have released of it's very limited. So until Google steps up and makes a strong statement that they're an open platform that people can do development on, this space will stagnate where it is, and it won't blossom like it could. So that's my
Well, listen, didn't Google? They did open up a portion of the API a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, and there's
but it's a flat one-way search. All I can do is go look at the basic stuff. I can't create interesting dynamic content at the scale that this space should be able to.
But they've only been around for 5 months. Give them a chance. They'll come up with more stuff. I mean, look how they're iterating on what they have already. They really are putting stuff out every week. There's something new. So,
Well, I'm a big Google Plus fan. I love the space. I love the way it works. I love it for what I do. But I'm saying if they are going to have a larger adoption, if they're going to be able to really flourish, that they are going to have to
open it up.
adopt some of these methodologies that Facebook is clearly much better at.
Yeah,
Much better at.
I'm inclined to agree.
Incredible platform.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. Google really needs to prioritize the API, because that's what let Facebook explode and Twitter explode. It was opening up the API and giving tens of thousands of developers an opportunity to create new and interesting features.
And then steal their ideas and make them your own. In
Well,
Twitter's case,
that's going to happen anyway.
Well, that was one of the questions this week that came up. One of the guys that's doing development in the Google space doesn't, he's very concerned that that Google doesn't come along and usurp some of the stuff that he's doing early on, building some applications in the space that Google doesn't just release a feature and
yeah. Well, then maybe they'll buy them out and make
But that's also the risk of doing these sorts of things.
Yeah.
You know, if you're going to create something that's tied specific to a specific platform, you really need to think about your business model or how much time you're investing in there.
Yeah, so
that's what's scary about being on the leading edge of this stuff is when you're developing a brand new space and a brand new API. One, that someone else doesn't steal it. Two, that the guy that's building the platform doesn't steal it. So you have that possibility. Facebook has been very intelligent in the way they've approached their business.
Exactly. All right. Well, let's get on to the next one and get under our picks. Because poor Jody is in the quiet over there. I want to ask her about what she thinks about 88% of U.S. social media users are registered voters, according to an infographic in Read Write Web. What do you think? Do you think that's true?
I think there's a lot of people that are not using social media still. And I think it depends geographically where they're located. I know we're running a very, very local campaign here. And one of the tools that I've been using is Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
There's limited people who are actually on Facebook in the geography who would be voters.
Really?
You have to pretty much take a kind of like a line over a certain age, and those people are basically not on social media. And then the younger people,
they may be registered, but it doesn't mean they're voting. They might be registered. I mean, a lot of them register because it's a cool thing to do.
They may be registered. They may not be registered. But interestingly enough, like the younger people that I know do not use Twitter at all. They're on Facebook, but they're using it socially. They're not using it
politically. Yeah, exactly.
On that.
Yeah. So, well, that's good insight on that. But there's a link to the infographic in there. But let's go into the picks of our week. Picks of the week. Neil, what is ripples and why are you causing ripples?
Oh, I just cause ripples because I'm that kind of a guy. But ripples on Google Plus, it's actually a cool little feature. If you go to a post that has been shared or plus one or what have you, and in the upper right-hand corner of the post, there's that fairly visible little tiny upside-down triangle with a circle around it. The options menu, you click on that, and then on the bottom it says View Ripples. And
only if it's a public post. Only if it's a public post. If it's private, if it's privately shared.
It has to be shared publicly, otherwise it doesn't show up in the ripples. So you can have 50 people that reshare it, but if only 30 share it publicly, the ripples will only show for the public shares.
Right. So it does that, but what happens is it loads this pretty cool graph showing the post at the center or the person at the center, and then everyone else who has commented on it or shared it or plus one it is extended off of that, and then the people on their networks who've reacted to it in the same fashion, it goes off of that. So what happens is you wind up with this exploding sort of bubble chart of all the interactions on this particular post. But it's cool though because you can mouse over the various people. It's a great way to discover new people who've interacted with the content. You can zoom in or out depending on the size of the and the number of detail for the shares. I bet if you go to a Scoble post or something, it'll probably
it's insane. Yeah.
And it also says you can look at a timeline and watch how it has spread and to whom. So for a marketer,
sounds like a disease.
Well, interestingly enough, it does.
Shit.
Be virility.
Neil, can you back to interesting enough? I just lost the hangout for a second there.
We've got two
Go back,
sets now.
go back to interesting. You said we're
As if
interesting
one wasn't
enough.
enough.
Interesting enough something, and then I lost the hangout.
We
Interesting
have two
enough.
sets.
Yeah, I know. Hi.
Okay.
So interesting enough, and then I went bye. There you go.
All right. So anyway, it's called Google Ripples. Just check it out on posts that have had a lot of activity on it. It's really a cool feature. It'd be a great feature for marketers, and it's a great way to discover new people on Google Plus.
Exactly, and yeah, as you can tell, we're still very much in beta using this Hangout thing. So I'm sure Neil, what you were saying was very interesting, but we lost it, and we just lost Robert. No, he's there. He's back. Okay. He likes to turn off his camera randomly.
I think when you get to the hour,
I bumped
Mark,
the command key on my keyboard, and
yeah, exactly.
Seth, what do you mean we lost it?
No, no. What happens if you get to an hour, you don't click? Are you still there fast enough? It turns you off. So I didn't get to the Are you there still there button fast enough. So apologize. But anyhow, my pick of the week is QRhacker.com. Essentially, there's a big QR codes are those little scrambling dots matrices, that little squares that you can scan with your smartphone. And what it does, you can make this into really interesting little, gizmos for your promotional material. And what you want to be able to do is you want to be able to brand it for your product. I've been doing it manually, and it's kind of neat. But I found the QRhacker.com is a little bit of a WYSIWYG, a what you see is what you get kind of tool that you can actually go in there and do a limited amount of tweaks to it. But it's a good starting point for people who are just trying to get into editing stuff. Jody?
Yeah, recently there was a post about some guys in Russia who embedded viruses and malware
Yeah, be
in
careful.
QR codes.
Be careful with your QR code scanning people. So
So I mean, I don't know that it's funny because QR codes I think are like everybody thinks, oh, how cool is that? But the reality of it is that most of them that are put out there, there's no reason to want to scan it.
Yeah.
It just says, here's a QR code. Like, okay, that's good enough. Let me get to that app on my phone and scan it. I don't think so.
It has to be a reason for it, exactly. But
yeah. So that's the first thing. But beyond that, once you scan it, so half the time they take you nowhere or it's an invalid link. So I mean, I think it's cool. I like the fact that you're modifying them. I think if somebody intends to use a QR code, obviously you want to go with somebody who knows what they're doing and knows how to.
Yeah, but I kind of disagree with what you were saying about how a lot of them don't go anywhere. I mean, if you put them on your marketing literature, I mean, I think if you just put a QR code up on a wall, don't scan it because who knows where the hell it's been and what's in there. But I mean, if it's on a Sony ad and you want to learn more about it and you apparently want to scan it on your phone, I mean, it's an added little bonus. Hey, check out our video by scanning this code and watch the video on your phone. It's a little ploy to get more interaction.
It has to be a reason, though. I mean, you can't just say, hey, scan this cool code.
Yeah, Robert?
The coolest use for a QR hack I've seen so far is a girl that wore a QR code on her shirt to work, and when you scan the QR code, it went to an image of her dressed up in her Halloween costume.
I thought you were going to say it was an image of her without her shirt on.
Well, that would be better. No, but actually, there was one of a guy who got a QR code tattoo, and when you put the iPhone above the QR code, an animation. It was an animated tattoo if you scan the QR code. There's interesting ways of doing it.
Oh wait, here's a cool one: a QR code on a tombstone.
Oh yeah, there was one of those. Yeah.
And it shows you a video of the person's past.
It's like getting the Commodore 64 keyboard on your tombstone in '81, I guess, or something like that.
Yeah.
Cool stuff.
So Jody, what is Hangout Canopy?
Well, wait a second. I just want to throw it out there that I'm actually planning a QR code seminar up soon. I'm actually going to be speaking next week at the Center City Proprietors Association about
in Philadelphia.
You are in Philly about QR codes. So if you're in Philly, you want to learn about how to use them, how to make them, what they're all about. Let me know, and I'll get.
If we're not in Philly, can we join you in a hangout from?
Not directly there, but I'm gonna schedule one after the event, and I'll let you know about that.
I can help you out with that, Neil. Anyhow, Jody, what is Hangout Canopy? I mean, we talked about it briefly before, but it's got a new update. What's it all about, Jode?
Well, it's a Chrome extension, and at least it's the way I have it on my computer as a Chrome extension. And what I find that it's helpful for is if you're hanging out late at night and you want to join a hangout, it gives you a list of all of the public hangouts, who's in them, how many people, so you can jump in and talk to people that you don't know, which is a good way of meeting new people and getting new followers and engaging.
Yeah, also neat little feature. There's also a watching feature. So let's say I'm friends with Jody, or I admire Jody and I want to stalk her. You can put her profile URL into Hangout Canopy, and you'll get a nice little dialogue that will pop up saying, "Hey, Jody's hanging out in our public hangout. Go hang out."
And she can also block you if you annoy her. So
Exactly. So there's some repercussions.
Yeah, it's a pretty useful feature that the team Robert Pitt, Brian Aldridge, Mohammed Esh Spada, those guys have built a really cool product that enhances the entire Google Plus suite with this thing and really makes Hangouts more enjoyable.
Yeah, well, Robert, you have an interesting little plug-in as well.
Yeah, so the more we hang out, or the more that we spend time in this particular social network, and the way you engage in this network is a little bit different than the other social media, is that you end up with people that you've circled for one reason or another, and after a period of time, they may or may not have circled you back. So if you don't have a two-way engagement, you don't have something that's contextual that's useful. So an easy way to find that is to use one of the uncircle features. There's a couple of them out there. Uncircle Uncirclers is the latest one that came out.
Clever.
Today. It's really cool. So you can click on the circles that you want to scan. It'll scan those circles and find every one of those circles that have excuse me, that has not circled you back. Up till now, I've had to write my own scripts to do that. Now we have a very nice Chrome plugin. Works great and keeps everything nice and clean.
Exactly.
Hey, Robert, out of curiosity, if you discover people, let's say on Google Plus, that you followed that aren't following you back, what kind of tips do you have for reaching out and or encouraging them to follow you back?
Well, so you have various levels of engagement, and I have my circles sort of set up in different groups, and I'll go through them on any given day and click on people's streams that are all aggregated, so I have a whole group of people. And you can actually have a group of people that haven't followed you, so you can put them in their own special stream. And you go through and simply +1 or comment or share their content. You begin engagement with them, and once you begin engagement, maybe they'll engage with you back, maybe they won't. Depends on how they use the space. But so the best way to do that is to simply start to interact with those people in a polite and friendly manner, and then maybe they'll start to engage with you back.
And the thing is also, if they don't follow you back, it's not the end of the world. I mean, like, I know that there's a few people that that are interesting enough that I want to follow their posts. Like Trey Radcliffe, I want to see his photos. I don't necessarily expect him to follow me back. I mean, I'm one of millions of people that are following him, So, I mean, how am I going to stand out? Maybe using Robert's tools and stuff and ideas, maybe I can become, one of the standout people that he'd want to follow back. But I don't think this necessarily, if, follow me, I'll follow you back thing. I think it's a matter of quality. If they add something to your stream, by all means, follow them back. If not, don't. So, let's wrap this up. And this is how you can get in touch with us. We love, we have Robert on the show today. And we're writing a book today. We're writing a book on how photographers on Google Plus can use the social network. I'm going to release a bunch of other books beyond that on different for different industries as well. But to get in touch with us, call us at country code 1-478-A2SM-118, which is also known as +1 478-227-6118. Email us at editors@a2sm.com. You can tweet us over at A2SM. You can find us on YouTube by going to a2sm.org/YouTube, and we're on Foursquare, and you can go to a2sm.org/Foursquare as well. We are on Facebook, and you can find us out there by going to facebook.com/addicted to social media. Neil, where can we find you, buddy?
You can find me pretty much anywhere on the web at Neil Weiser, NEALWISER.com, on Twitter, Google+, Facebook, LinkedIn, you name it, I'm there. Come find me.
Exactly. He's also a2sm.org/Neil, NEAL, all lowercase.
There you go.
And that's how you can get to his Google Plus page easily. Jody, where can we find the beautiful Jody?
Typically, you can find me at webmarcom.net, my blog, webmarcom.net/blog.
Mm-hmm.
No drum roll. Obviously at A2SM, and Google me, all the normal haunts, Jody Rains, or on Twitter as Sunswept, SUNSWEPT.
Also, you can find her at a2sm.org/Jody, JODY, all lowercase. You can find me at Seth Goldstein, SETHGOLDSTIN, on Twitter. You can find me wherever else I am by going to a2sm.org/Seth, SETH, all lowercase as well. And we've actually made one for Robert as well as a2sm.org/Robert. Takes you over to his very nice Google Plus page. And Robert, where else can we find you, buddy?
Well, you can find me on Google Plus most days, but you can also find me over at gplusguides.net. Seth, you may have heard of that website.
Yes, I have. I set it up. And
that's the website that Seth and I are using to write some guides for Google Plus, and easy enough to find over there or on Google Plus. You can find me on Facebook if I'm there once a week or twice a week. Other than that, that's about it.
So Neil, take us out, buddy.
And this has been the Addicted to Social Media podcast, where if you can hear me over the dog barking out the window, we really enjoyed the show, and it was a great show today. Robert, thanks for visiting us. It was a good conversation. Love to have you back. And
hey, you got invited back. You didn't alienate yourself.
yeah.
I haven't done it yet either. I did a recording, but yeah. So anyhow.
Well, maybe we can trade out with other people. I don't know.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
right.
This has been the Addicted to Social Media podcast. I'm Neil Weiser.
I'm Seth Goldstein.
I'm Jody Raines.
And Robert Anderson.
And check us out next time.
Take care. It kind of sounds like you ever watch This Old House? It sounds like that at the very end, but whatever, it works.
Let me get my tool belt.
You told me. All right. Bye-bye, guys.